Hello my students. In this lesson we want to learn that how data is stored in PDMS. If you remember, during my last lessons I told you about selection tree. This part, I mean this window, because it works look like a tree. As you see, for example, inside of each element you have some other elements. For example, inside the site you have zone, and inside the zone you have some other elements. I mean that each element is a member of other elements. Also, it has so many members. This kind of owner-member relationship acts look like windows, directories and subdirectories. For example, inside a folder you may have so many other folders, inside each one some others, and so on. As you see, the topmost data level is the world. Below the world you have some other members. In PDMS, each identifiable item is known as a PDMS element, and each element have some particular attributes. For example, now I'm selecting section tree, SCTN tree, from the menu Query, Attributes. As you see, this menu gives you the attributes of the element SCTN tree. As I told, each one of PDMS elements owned by other elements, except of the world. Each element may have several members, but it just can have one owner. Each one of the PDMS members will automatically get a reference number. Also, the user can give it a specified name. And finally, sometimes the name will be automatically select from the 4 first letters of the full name, like for example SCTN, that shows you a section. Okay, now we want to learn about PDMS elements one by one. The first one is world. When a PDMS database is built for first time, it's empty except for a single element name that called world. Each database has its own world, and as you see, the world is the topmost data level in the hierarchy. You must know that the world element could not be renamed or deleted. Below the world you have the element site. A site shows a physical part of the plant, or may show you a particular discipline. For example, as you see, sites are created for this project based on discipline. It may be several sites inside the PDMS project for data organization. The next level is zone. Zones also may be considered as a physical part of the plant, like for example a particular piping system in piping site, or so on. It's more likely to store similar types of items in a zone for easy referencing. Site and zones are common for all disciplines. As you see, in HEN project, for each discipline we have a site, and inside each site we have different zones. As you see, for example, inside of piping we have different zones, and so on. Okay guys, now we must take a look directly to equipment site. As you see, inside equipment you have different zones. Actually, equipments in PDMS are built using elements known as primitives. I mean that primitives shaping the physical shape of equipment. The primitives may be owned directly by equipment or by sub-equipment. As you see, for example, equipment SP-1402 have some nozzles and 2 cylinders. These elements are owned directly by equipment. Okay, as you see, this is the equipment that we checked together. Primitives are the basic building blocks of PDMS. Also in Paragon module, all the catalogs, I mean the schematic view of components, will shape by primitives. In design module, for creating an equipment, you may use several types of primitives like cylinder, box, pyramid, cone, dish, and so on. For example, let me show you another equipment. For modeling each equipment, you must be in design module equipment application. Okay, as you see, this equipment is built from several nozzles and some other primitives. Inside design module, you can create primitives from menu, create primitives. As you see, you can have different types of primitive like box, cylinder, cone, snout, and so on. Just don't forget that you must be in equipment application. Okay, now from equipment application we will shifting to structural design, structures, and beams and columns. Inside the site structure, mezzanine deck, and some structures. As you see, this is a ladder. Walk to an entire draw list. Okay. As you see, each structure is built with some substructures. So the structure, I mean the STRU, is an administrative element. Okay guys, this is the structure HEN platform. You can see that this member is a member of framework 1. Framework 1 is owned by STRU2. STRU2 is owned by Zune COL-BRAC. In PDMS, structural profiles are represented by section, I mean SCTN. These structural profiles are selected directly from the catalogs that created for the project, and there may be vary from company to company. Also, you have panel elements and curved sections that known as generic sections. Okay, now we will check the pipework application. Let me remove all the structures. Rem all. Okay, for piping in HAN project, we have a particular site. In PDMS, as I told before, pipe is just an administrative element, and each pipe contains several branches, and when you want to design piping for a plant, you will continue to modeling branches, not for pipes. I mean that pipe is just an administrative element. Okay, for HAN project, we have a graphical problem for bends. Let me remove all the bends. Rem all bend. Okay, now all the bends removed, and we can see whole the piping of project. For example, let me select the pipe. As you see, for example, this one. Okay, whole the piping of project is colored in yellow, and the pipe that I've selected is colored in orange. This pipe is 6-inch VF 25002-B06-B1. Okay, as you see, this pipe contains 2 branches, and each branch contains several piping components like gasket, flange, tube, elbow, and so on. Each one of these components were selected from the catalogs that created for this project during modeling steps. Also, as you know, PDMS doesn't let anyone to select a component from out of a spec, and if a designer make this mistake, he will face with the software error. One of the very important subjects of piping is the concept of head and tail. Each branch has an attribute of head and an attribute of tail. Okay, let me remove all the branches, all the pipes, and just add our particular branch to 3D view. REM space all, and add CE. Okay, as you see, this is our branch. As I told, each branch have one head and one tail. Another command, mark bran. The head of the branch is marked with plus, and the tail is marked with minus. You can see the head at bottom side and the tail and top side. During modeling of piping, you must take care that flow shall always be from head to tail. And as I told, each branch is a member of a pipe, and a pipe may have several branches. So head and tail are just meaning for branches. I mean that pipe doesn't have attributes of head and tail. And as I told, pipe is just an administrative element. Okay, as you see, I selected the elbow 5 on this branch and zooming on it. As I told, all the piping components were selected from particular spec. It's no matter that you may have how many, for example, elbows from this kind in your model. They are all selected from a particular spec with a particular shape. Okay, for example, for this elbow, let me check the specification reference. As you see, this elbow belongs to a specification B06. If you want to see the specification of a particular piping component, you must check its specification reference. Also, for a branch, you must choose another command. For checking a specification of a branch, the command you must enter is qp spec. As you see, the specification of the branch is B06. Okay guys, as I told, in PDMS each element may have a particular name. Naming system is for creating of meaningful reports from the database. For example, site, zone, equipment, some equipment, pipe, branch, and so on. From the elements, just the word cannot be renamed. Element names will start with /. I mean that when you want to use a particular name in a command, you must start that name with /. For example, let me show you a sample of name checking. Q name. As you see, the name is 2-inch-VF-11081-D06. The name starts with /. Also, the names may not contain a space, but they may contain a /, underline, dash, asterisk, and so on. Also, PDMS element names must not be longer than 50 characters. If you don't give an element a particular name, the software will allocate an automatic name for that element. For example, branch 1, branch 2, and so on. But actually, PDMS doesn't use the names that you gave to elements. PDMS will automatically give a reference number for each one of the elements you have modeled. These reference numbers were not used more than one time, and so they will remain unique for whole life of the project. Also, if you don't give a name to an element, you may see the reference number in your reports. Okay guys, it's the end of our current lesson. In our next lessons, we will learn more about units and the access system that used in PDMS. Bye for now.